Welcome to Healing Within, and today we're going to be working on some boundaries. A lot of people out there tend to let people overstep or push boundaries too far. It's hard to say no a lot of the time, so this one's about that. And just remember, this is more about a therapy skill and tools, not meant to replace therapy, but just to be an additional tool for everyone. So let's go ahead and get started. So kind of let yourself find and assume a comfortable physical position, just kind of working on this new hypnotic state with learning and focus. While you're starting to get more comfortably relaxed, notice how you can move if needed in order to get more deeper relaxed than before. So you can allow your mind and body just to relax effortlessly over time with the comfortable position. When you're ready, just gently go ahead and close your eyes and feel the tension of the eyes. Just feel it kind of release. Are you getting more comfortable? Loosening all the tiny muscles in the eyes and allowing the signal of relaxation to spread through the whole body. It's like a wave of relaxation spreading over the head, legs, feet, and toes. It's letting the whole body relax. Your mind and body has done this before in many places. Some people could be at a beach where they just lay down and relax. Some people who have a harder time relaxing, they might think of some sort of story in order to keep their mind, focused but yet relaxed. But whatever you do, just allow your whole body in your own way find a way to become heavy and warm. Heavy and warm, the legs, feet, and toes. Just allow yourself to be curious about them becoming heavy and warm. Now shifting your focus on your breath. Take a moment and focus on your breath. You don't need to change your breath, just simply notice it automatically. And as you do, perhaps you can notice the sensations that go along with your breath. With gentle curiosity, you can notice the texture of your breath. The rhythm of your breath. The temperature of your breath. As you take a deep breath in, go ahead and hold it for a moment. Holding it. And you can begin to let go of the tension as you exhale. That's right. It can be such a relief just to let go, can it not? Just letting go. Letting go of concerns. Letting go of expectations. Letting go of judgments. That's right, just letting go. Just gently and deeply breathing that cool air going in and the warm air going out as you relax even more. All the body is completely and utterly relaxing. And you can allow your body and mind to relax to the point where it feels like your body's taking a nap, but your mind's completely focused. Focused in that wonderful hypnotic state. And with each breath out, you might wonder just how relaxed you can become. With each breath out, just think about how your arms, legs can just get so heavy, so relaxed, and how comforting that weight can be. And with each breath, your arms, legs, shoulders, and muscles all can begin to feel completely relaxed. You can become aware of being held safely, securely, comfortably in that place you're at. Perhaps that chair or bed or something else. As it is a place that feels safe while listening to my voice. As you work on drifting down, each and every breath is allowing you to relax more and more. Allowing you to drift away now. That's good. You might wonder what it would be like to count each breath as you relax, and how each breath can make you feel more relaxed. And just the thought of breathing and relaxing makes it so you can feel yourself sinking down. 10, 9, going deeper, down, just calm, 8. Each breath just allowing you to relax. And when you relax, so you can relax even more easily. 7. And with each breath, you can feel yourself go deeper. Deeper, more and more relaxed. 6. Down again. 5. Breathing gently. Letting go. Just letting go. Nothing to worry about right now. 4. Down and down. Deeper and deeper. 3. No big deal. When we get to 1, we're going to be completely relaxed when we get to that number. Not yet, but when we get to that number. And we'll also begin to let ourselves be in our subconscious mind to store memory and relax and just kind of store some useful thoughts. 3. More and more at ease. 2. Here we go. Getting into that hypnotic state and the subconscious mind. Totally relaxed. And 1. No big deal. You can begin to notice how you can narrow your focus and turn your focus and attention inward, inside your mind. It's like a place you've been into before, a day in your past, where you felt most relaxed. We're going to be there while we learn, allowing one part of your mind to be relaxed, and another part of your mind to be focused, and store memory that is useful. That's right. So as you drift deeper into this calm and comfortable feeling, I'm going to be talking to you about a problem that you're seeking to overcome. And that problem is known as boundary crossing or boundary issues. And so how do we kind of know whether you need boundaries? And what are the signs exactly? And we're going to kind of go over that. Just notice how it just registers in the brain so easily. And as you probably already know, there are many people in your life that you let in more closely than they may deserve. And you might notice how you can feel worse before, meeting them. And then when you meet them, you feel even more uncomfortable or worse. You might find yourself wondering how you got yourself in a situation that you didn't want to be in. And sometimes people ask you to help with things and you can't seem to find a way to say no. So just think sooner or later things don't go well when not respecting that inner desire to say no. Is it possible that you're not allowing yourself to say no out of fear or anxiety of letting others down, or worry about hurting others' feelings? Because if you answered yes to any of these questions, you might have an issue with boundaries. And that's because you let somebody else's needs come before your own needs. And although this may seem like a good thing to do, as it can be good at times, giving up too much of yourself can lead you to feel more depressed or stressed. Which reminds me of this story. It's called The Giving Tree. Some of you heard it before or read it. The story is about the life and friendship of an apple tree and a little boy who developed this beautiful relationship with one another. In the beginning, the boy would go to the tree every day. He would gather the leaves and play in them. He'd climb the tree and the branches and swing on them. And when he got tired, he would lay against the tree in the shade of the tree and the leaves. He'd play with them in the fall. But this boy loved the tree very much. It's kind of like a friendship. And as the boy grew older, and the tree was left alone a lot more, the boy eventually came back one day as he's older, and he wanted to buy things and wanted money, and he asked the tree for money. And the tree said, "I don't have money, but I have apples you can sell," to the boy, and the boy was happy, and the tree was happy, and the boy went and sold the apples to get some money. And the boy went away for a long time. The tree was alone. Eventually the tree kind of got sad. Eventually the boy returned, kind of middle-aged man by now. And the tree was hoping the boy would play and spend some time together, but the boy instead wanted a house and asked the tree for a house. And he said, "Tree, can I have a house?" And the tree said, "I don't have a house, but I got limbs. I can give you those." And so the boy cut down all the limbs of the tree, only the trunk remaining, and took those and started using it to build a house. And once again, the tree was happy and the boy was happy. And eventually, the tree became alone again, sad again. The boy hasn't been around for a long time. So one day, the boy eventually came back as an old man, and the boy said, "I'm so tired. So tired. I just wish I had a boat." And the old man asked the tree for a boat, and the tree said, "I don't have a boat, but I have my trunk, and you can use that to make a boat." So the old man cut down the big parts of the tree, all the trunk of the tree, and formed it into a boat, and disappeared for a long, long time. And that tree, remaining as a stump, became sad again. Till eventually the old man, very old in age now, returned, and before even approaching the tree said, "I have nothing left to give." And the old man said, "Oh, I just need a quiet place to sit and rest." And the tree said, "Oh, I can do that." And so the old man sat and rested with the old man. But the old man did not realize how much that he took. He took too much from this tree to the point where there's nothing left of the tree left to give. For this book was about joy and love, and giving love and care to one another. As a healthy relationship forms, it should be a give and a take. However, in life you don't take care of your relationship, don't take care of holding boundaries with yourself or others, then you might find yourself giving too much then, or you perhaps not giving enough in the relationship, and that's where the relationship can become polluted. For you see, we don't need to think we need so many things in order to impress others. We don't need to give so much. Or if we give too much, we have nothing left to give. And that's when the relationship, turns into ruminations, overthinking, resentments. The key message here is healthy relationships need boundaries, healthy boundaries. And you're going to want this as you want more out of life, more love, more happiness. When we think of boundaries, the ones that first come to mind are physical boundaries of our bodies and personal space. You've probably experienced how uncomfortable it can be when someone gets too close to your face during conversation. That is just one example of a physical boundary being kind of pushed. But physical boundaries are actually just 1/6 types of boundaries. For example, we also have sexual boundaries, which are about limiting inappropriate conversation topics, sexually charged jokes, and other behaviors that we're not willing to put up with. That might be someone touching you inappropriately, even though they might find it funny. It's inappropriate and we don't like it. It might feel violating. Then there are intellectual and emotional boundaries, which are about having our opinions and feelings respected by one another, others even if they disagree with us. We also have material boundaries, which relate to how others use our possessions. And finally, we have time boundaries, which are about ensuring that others understand the value of our time. However, more boundaries are more individual. These are the ones that we need to communicate. So for example, meeting someone for the first time, you might have to let them know you were more of a handshaker than a hugger. Of course, setting boundaries isn't always easy, because we worry about what will be seen as stiff or rigid, needy, overly sensitive. We might even worry about harming the relationship by making things awkward. But in the long run, not setting boundaries is a counterproductive thing. We allow others to continually step on our boundaries. The quality of our relationships will inevitably decline. It'll start to end. So yes, setting boundaries can be uncomfortable. But in the end, short-term discomfort is a small price to pay for having functional long-term relationships. Just kind of continuing to relax, calming the mind, continuing to focus on how most relationship problems are caused by boundaries that are either too porous or weak boundaries. Some boundaries are too rigid or held too hard. So think about your boundaries. Boundaries when you're sick. You take medicines to help you get better. When you take medicine, your body can fight off the medicine until realizing that it's there actually to help and help us get better. No one wants to be sick. But boundaries are the medicine to our mental health. Boundaries should aim for that perfect balance between being open to positive influences and blocking out the negative ones. So if you fail to achieve this balance, you're at risk for experiencing a range of experiences with relationship issues. Or if your boundaries are too weak, for instance, you'll be vulnerable to absorbing other people's needs and emotions as your own. However, if you go too far in being rigid on the opposite direction of your boundaries, you can be in danger of ending up emotionally isolated and alone because people don't want to put up with you if you're too harsh. So setting healthy boundaries require clear communication and consistent action. You don't set clear boundaries directly. They have a way of making themselves known more indirectly. I end up talking about that passive-aggressive, yet sadly ineffective communication technique that people do. And if you think about it, passive-aggressiveness is just really a poor attempt to communicate a boundary instead of directly setting kind of what's needing to be done in order to not get hurt. Passive aggressiveness is a way that hurts another person as we're trying to communicate what's wrong. So more often than not, this approach, passive aggressiveness, only frustrates other people who are completely oblivious to what the problem is. Dealing with boundary violations means issuing a consequence. And of course, it's easier said than done to be assertive with communication, to say what we need to say, but that's easier said than done because more frequently and others interpret these things as fears or consequences, not really seeing how it's just a boundary, not an emotion, just a boundary. And instead, what happens typically is we start thinking about what the other person is thinking. That prevents us from speaking out about how we really feel. And we obsess our heads about whether we might cause an offense or perceive this negative thing from others. The truth is, so long as you're polite, most people will honor the direct request. Healthy boundaries are also about having a good relationship with yourself. And oftentimes, the reason why we have issues with setting boundaries is we avoid the misunderstanding of what the boundaries actually are. Imagine that boundaries are about distance ourselves or emotionally distancing from a person. And genuine relationships are about selfless giving. And it's said that women especially have been told that they're supposed to be a good wife or a good mother and be selfless. Give yourself up for the benefit of someone else. But there's a reason why housewives and mothers frequently end up burned out, demotivated, depressed. Anybody can see that giving yourself entirely to others is counterproductive. Can someone expect to help others if they don't have any energy or time or joy for themselves? It's impossible to pour from an empty cup. And setting boundaries to family is part of growing up, becoming an adult. Family is often where the struggle becomes the most difficult for most people with setting boundaries, especially the parents. Decades of dynamic making a child believe it's supposed to be done a certain way can change overnight. But we must set boundaries with our parents if we are ever to grow up. As we're required as individuals in order not to be a child, to set boundaries to develop. And there's setting boundaries in the office, which is essential for work and doing a good job. If you're working 40 hours and beyond, you frequently work in the evenings and the weekends when we're supposed to be recovering. We say yes to extra projects from our colleagues. It's not our responsibility. Because we say yes out of this false sense of guilt. We don't take advantage of all these vacation days that we're entitled to. Because we keep telling ourselves we'll take a break later, but we never do. It's never anniversary on the calendar, which means it never comes. Even if we have healthy boundaries in our personal lives, we tend to have more weak boundaries in our professional lives. That's because we find it more difficult to set boundaries with our boss and team members, out of fear of being told we're a good or not a good employee. Then there's setting romantic boundaries, which clearly means communicating your needs and expectations for the future. Noticing what's most important element of a romantic relationship, which is communication. Or if you have poor communication, it's one of the leading causes of divorce or breakups, one of the top reasons couples seek therapy. We're going to use hypnosis today to help you connect with your inner mind and where your potentials lie with setting boundaries, letting others in these relationships not push boundaries, as we want to be healthier in our lives. And healthier in our lives brings us to healthier relationships. Or when you have healthy boundaries, you feel respected, loved, and as if though you can say what you actually need to say, which brings you closer to the other person, which is why it's important. Good. So see if you can find ways in the future where you can see something that feels wrong, either physically in your body or in your mind, or emotionally just feels wrong. Something doesn't feel right. When that happens, just remember, it's okay to say no. So now that you know more about boundaries, each and every time you need to set one, notice how much easier it gets every time. Automatic, as you've practiced it so many times. Very good. You learned that today, all these different boundaries, which means you can learn to set them and apply them when you need. So do that in the future. Set them and hold them. Let them become easy by doing. And not now, but when you're ready to come back to the room or wherever you're at, let yourself just naturally drift back. Things will be nice and clear about boundaries. And perhaps you can start by focusing on the sounds as it orients you back. Take as much time as you need.